Hello, it's Anisha, and welcome to another episode of Magical Minds with Anisha Johal. I'll be spreading the magic by bringing you a series of inspirational interviews with some very magical minds to educate, empower, and encourage your magical mind. In this episode, I'm joined by my fellow IM1313 teammate, Pritpal Rai, who is one of the founders of IM1313. So I've known Pritpal for the last 4 years and have worked with him on many IM1313 projects like the Guru Song Adventure Storybook, which I'm sure he will tell you more about. Pritpal, welcome to Magical Minds.
Thank you, Nisha, and thanks for having me.
No problem. Great to have you here. So to start off with, can you tell us a little bit about IM1313?
Okay, well, IM1313 is a non-profit Sikh creative organization. It's designed to really educate the Western world a little bit about who Sikhs are, but in a creative way that's fun and engaging, and really to educate people because of hate crimes that have occurred due to lack of education. So this is an organization that's there to educate, but in a fun and a high-level creative way through kind of animation, films, music, you name it. We're using all sorts of platforms to engage with children and adults. But yes, pretty much, we're a media organization that's there to tackle hate crimes and education.
Great. I've come across so many of your different projects and worked with you on loads of different ones. And you make a mixture of children's storybooks, some fantastic illustrations by Ben Barter Illustrations, music as well. So can you tell us a little bit more about the different projects that IM1313 have done over the past few years?
Yeah, so we're very lucky that we've kind of done many different projects, from animation to books to an album, working with people like Snatham Kaur, Azadeh, Navin Kunja, Taran Kaur, to name a few. The idea was really to create content that was really universal, but also bringing people from other backgrounds to kind of participate in this journey of education. So, as you know, Snatham Kaur, she's a very renowned singer, a Grammy nominee, but you've also got people like Navin Kunja, that's from Hindu background. You've got people like Azadeh, she's a British-born Iranian. But all those people have come along to kind of participate in this album. And this album, the album is called My Best Friend, is an English album. And it talks about different aspects about Sikhism, parts history, parts philosophy. But really, it's in a way, it's something that anybody from any background, any age could pick up and listen to it and learn something from. So whether you're a child, or a toddler, there's songs there for you. If you're an adult, there's songs like Jada Sahibzade, which is the four sons of our 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh. There's songs pretty much for everybody, but it's a unique album where it does cater for everybody. And on the back of that, we've done animations for some of the songs. The Guru song is a very popular lullaby, which kind of just educates people in a beautiful way about who our gurus are. And it's an enchanting, lovely lullaby. But we've done some beautiful illustrations with Ben Barter, who's come on board with the project, and someone that's really passionate about making a difference as well, and is part of the IM1313 team now as well. And now on the back of that, we've created a beautiful book. And what I would say is that the book is unique because it's a fictional story, but it's educational. The message in the book is educating people through indirectly. So it's telling about people about who the gurus are, about some small aspects about the philosophy. But this book is designed for everybody. It's not designed for Sikhs. Even the songs we've created on the media, the animation, aren't designed just for Sikhs. Predominantly Sikh content is probably catered solely for Sikhs. The one thing we found and we wanted to create was how do we create content on media that is really engaging for the people to learn. And so they can learn about who the gurus are. They can learn about the turban and all these different things, and they can take the kind of negative aspects that's been surrounded by it since 9/11. These things have got the image has been tarnished a little bit. So it's these light-hearted, fun, engaging, media aspects that we used really to kind of change the narrative a little bit and kind of create a better education, which was fun and engaging for all.
That is incredible to hear. I really liked how diverse and inclusive it is. You've got people from different cultures, different parts of the world, different faiths,
That's right.
ethnicities, all coming together in unity. And, that's the message of Sikhi. That's the message of, all world religions, is this idea of, us all being human. And, the fact that your team is so diverse, it really reflects that. And the second part that I really loved what you said was about this amalgamation of education and entertainment. So the
That's
way,
right.
your projects are very magical. They've got this really special vibe about them, the illustrations in the books, the music, the lyrics. It makes learning really fun. Entertainment is at the forefront, but learning is a byproduct of that. And
That's right.
it's really hard to kind of strike that balance. But all the IM 1313 projects have that very magical feel, which is, incredible to kind of experience.
And I think we're entering an era of that format, because as whether we like it or we don't like it, we see things like TikTok and social media and people utilizing entertainment to promote their business. And it's really, and people's attention spans are kind of becoming smaller. They need more kind of engaging content, and really, to get to the audience and the numbers we want, it has to be entertaining. It has to be something that anybody from any background can say, actually, what, I quite like the content. And this isn't about, the content we create isn't about, making people, convert to Sikhism. That's not the message. It's about education, because we think it's really, really important for people to know about other people and their backgrounds and their faith, to have a better understanding. We think ignorance plays a big role in, bullying and hate crimes. I mean, I read in America, for US, 60% of the population don't know who Sikhs are, and for me that was shocking. Wiscombe, the hate crime where, people murdered in the temple, the first victim of 9/11 was a Sikh. Could these things be avoided if we created a better education? We're not trying to create, people that, go on this journey, they do it for themselves. And we definitely know if someone wants to walk the journey of Sikhism, wow, that's fantastic. But that's a very personal journey. But the one thing we've got to do is create content that really can educate the wider audience and take this real negative image that has been brandished because of terrorism, because of the association with the turban. And also, our future generation are the children. This is the next generation. This is a foundation of changing the world. So hence why our focus is with children, because hopefully they don't have those pre-stereotypes. With our books, with our songs and the animation, they can learn a little bit and maybe have a brighter future for us all.
Totally. I really like how proactive the approach of IM 1313 is. You're recognizing these issues like stereotyping and racism that are happening across the world. But instead of just focusing on the issues, you're actually focusing on a solution, and a solution that's really holistic and really inclusive and open and diverse. And yeah, it's great to hear that kind of background behind it all. So what was the magical moment that inspired you to create IM 1313?
We had many magical moments, but one of the reasons we started this off, and we were quite unique, we had children. I think when you become a parent, it's quite evident that you've got a sponge in front of you, and you're molding that child. And one thing I felt at that age is that my child was very small at that age, and there's two of the participants at that time, Harnik and Pritesh. Again, we all had children around about the same time. So, it's not just about our children, but we felt that having children, we had a responsibility to create content, because there wasn't any content. There wasn't content sufficient enough to engage our children, because we assume they're born in an environment where, because they've got Sikh influence, they're going to automatically know about it. But a lot of Sikhs don't know who the gurus are. A lot of Punjabis, should I say, don't know who the Sikh gurus are. If you go on the streets and you speak to a lot of Sikhs and just say, name the gurus, they probably wouldn't know. Yeah, if you went to a Christian, I'm sure that they know the name of Jesus, right? So these are small things, but yet we haven't even educated our own people. So we thought, how can we kind of really tackle this on a wider scale? So for me, having children, changing my perspective and my lens in life about how important it is to create wanting content for my child. So not finding that, I think as a team, stepping up to the plate, and with the grace of God, we were able to kind of come together and have many beautiful people that joined the project, like yourself, Anisha, that kind of, how many people have come along, like Snatham Kaur, Taran, Navin. There's so many of the proper, the team has expanded. There's so many people that have come to support. And I could spend all day kind of naming them, which I'd like to do in terms of giving them recognition. But the whole organization, IM 1313, is not about us. The number 13 in Punjabi is it's pronounced Tera, which also means yours. Hence why everything we do is, it's not, it's not for our self-recognition. It's to get, it's for the glory and for our guru and for God. So when we give this, when we create a book, when we create the animation, we're not looking for recognition or money out of this. It's totally non-profit. What we do is just really to make a difference. So having children and having those lenses and being able to make a difference, I think the album My Best Friend is kind of been the birth of this project. So yeah, I don't know if that's one magical moment or many I've said in a bubble.
Yeah, I think it's hard to pinpoint one magical moment when there's just so much magic around I Am 1313 as a whole. But
it really is.
I really like the magic in the name. Tera meaning yours. How what you're creating is for everyone. It's for the world. It's for humanity. And seva, selfless service, is a big part of Sikhi as well. And from the name, you can tell that straight away.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. This might be a magical moment. How we named the organization. So at the time, we didn't have an organization name. We started off the project just wanted to make a difference, and the first one was the album. And I would see the number 1313 pretty much everywhere. Whether number plates on billboards, whatever. I would just see these numbers.
Yeah.
And I suggested to the guys, said, look, I don't know why I'm seeing these numbers all the time. Maybe this is kind of some kind of sign, that we call the organization. Yeah, we had a kind of not kind of difference of opinion in terms of names and ideas. And one of the members, Harnik, mentioned the word imbue. And we, he wanted kind of that name, and I said 1313. So we kind of thought, okay, what better way? We can't decide what better way than ask the guru. So as Sikhs, we do a thing which is called hukamnama, which is basically you ask the guru. So our guru is the Guru Granth Sahib Ji. We're able to have a dialogue, and we're able to kind of ask a question, and the guru gives us an answer. Now, at that time, one of the members, Pritish, wasn't with us, and we asked him to do they call it like a cyber hukamnama, which he did online. They almost would give you an answer. So we did like a prayer, and we said, Lord, come back tomorrow and send us a hukamnama. And he said, oh no, I'll do that. So we were busy. I think it was a couple of days later or a day later, I can't remember. He did a hukamnama. Now the hukamnama, he sent a screenshot in our little personal group, and the hukamnama, was Marumala Punjab, but that was the name of the hukamnama. But it literally had the words imbued throughout in the translations. So I kind of think, okay, I'm wrong. For me, reading into the hukamnama, that the word imbue is presented, several times, and I couldn't find anything related to 1313. Maybe that's the name, right? So we go with that. So I said, that's fine. That's, whatever the guru says, we go with that. That's kind of always been the philosophy. And when we were about to decide, one of the guys said, look, the screenshot of the hukamnama was taken at exactly 1313. It's timestamped. So we thought, wow, what? And this was coincidence. It wasn't something that was set up or planned. We can promise you, right? So I think, how do we merge the two? And then the word, what came about was obviously Tera means yours, in Punjabi and Gurmukhi. So we took the I am from imbue, and we put the words 1313. So I am yours. I am. So that's where the kind of name came from. So that's a magical moment. That was definitely, it's a unique name, but that's how the name is formed. That's the kind of the history behind. So everything we do, is for the guru. And so I am 1313 is what we're about, but also it's very significant in the name as well.
Totally, that is pure magic. The fact that you have ideas, you're seeing these synchronicities, these signs, 13 everywhere, and how you actually just surrendered it to a higher power, and you got your answer, you got your name. And it's great to see that kind of philosophy in action. A lot of people know, might know what hukamnama is, but they don't really take one. But that's just a prime example of actually it works. You get your answer, and if you're ever in doubt or stuck, you can go to that higher source and you will get an answer. So it's incredible to hear how everything you do isn't from yourself, your personality, your ego. It's from a higher source. So
Yeah, and
Thanks for sharing that.
yeah, and we look. I think the philosophy within the team, and like I said, the team is many. It's expanded from 3 to kind of maybe 15 people now. But the number one thing in the team is that everyone's in their different stages in their journey in life, but everything we do, regardless of that, is always about giving it. It's not about any one individual. I mean, sometimes, unfortunately, I have to stand up and get in front of the camera because I'm forced to, and that's the truth. I don't do it out of choice. Sometimes it's a necessity, and I'm told if I don't do it, then who else is going to do it? So sometimes I do it, and that's not really my personality to kind of go out and do this. However, sometimes there's a need, and but like I said, it isn't about me. It's not, there's many people that put so much hard work into these projects, and the reason we do that is for our guru. So it's always about that. It's never about any one of us, and we're so lucky to do that. We're not writers from a background. We don't come from a writing background. We don't come from a media background, but we just come with a passion to wanting to make a difference. And I think with that, the Guru's granted us an amazing seva to be able to do that. So we're just blessed, very, very blessed.
Yeah, I like what you said there about a passion, about wanting to make a difference. And if it's not all about, this qualifications or the skill set or the experience. If you have that passion, that there is a way to make it happen.
Absolutely, yeah. I truly believe that.
So what is the main magical memory you have of I Am 1313?
Okay, the main magical memory. I have so many.
I bet you've got plenty. I bet it's going to be tricky trying to find one.
I tell you, there's so many moments, and some are quite personal, in terms of it's hard for me to share because some are quite emotional. But I would say some of I'll tell you one that comes to mind, and when you do a lot of these projects, you put your passion and your heart into it, and you don't necessarily, you want it to make a difference. And I remember, and you wanted to reach out to a wider audience. You have all these goals and aspirations, but sometimes, obviously, you leave it in the Guru's hands, right? And you have faith, but sometimes you kind of think, are we reaching a wider? Are we able to do this? So we had on Facebook once. We were contacted by a parent, and they said, just praising the books, and we love the book. We've seen the book online. My wife is not from a Sikh background. I'm not practicing Sikh. However, the book just looked beautiful. Had a really engaging cover. It looked like a good book to buy, just as a book, right? So they bought the book, and they said, their son, who again, is not born in a Sikh family. They've got a mother that's practicing a different faith, and he wasn't necessarily practicing his. Yet they wanted still to learn and have something, around his faith. So his child started picking up the book and was just so engaged. And he said, my son instantly started learning the Guru's names, which is great because, even my family didn't know the Guru's names, right? But he said, my son had been suffering from these nightmares. And he goes, we'd done several things to tackle these nightmares and nothing would kind of help. And this child one day came down, I think maybe 5 or 6 years old he was, maybe no more than that. He said to his dad, he goes, Dad, them nightmares have gone away. And he said, what do you mean? How, what's worked? Because we've been trying everything. He said, he goes, I've been reading the book. And he said, the Guru came into my dream. And he said, what do you mean? He said, really? He said, yeah, the Guru came into my dream and, I don't need to worry anymore. And his parents, as a parent, your child's well-being is so important. Every parent will know that, having your child just having a sense of peace of mind when they're suffering anything, whether it's bullying, whether it's nightmares, you want them to feel better. And having tried everything that hadn't worked, sitting the book, he picked up, and the Guru had come into his dream, and these nightmares that he'd been suffering from had gone. He felt a sense of peace, and he was so kind of ecstatic about the book. He was kind of telling everyone, you need to pick the book. It's a beautiful book. But the book kind of had something magical about it. So it wasn't just a story. It's something that actually went beyond that and actually, created a sense of peace. And another one I'd say, just on that, I know you said one, but the amount of non-Sikhs we have buying the book, honestly, we get so many emails back that have truly just fell in love with the book. And it's funny because we get people that are from a non-Sikh background that know the names of the gurus just from reading the book. Yeah, we've got Punjabi people that are born into the faith, yet don't. So, when we see those moments and we see like a non-Sikh child reading the book or knowing the guru's names, we think, wow, these things are working. So those are the things that really stick out in my mind, and that even when I see them again, they still make me smile and think, wow, it is really magical.
Yeah, totally. The fact that non-Sikhs are actually purchasing these books and are showing an interest, that's amazing that, you've managed to get I Am 1313 to a really new and diverse audience. But that story that you shared about the dream, like, whoa, it just leaves you speechless, really. Like,
it is, honestly, you know what? I mean, like I said, seeing as a parent, you feel it more. But I've had my child. He's been through certain moments where they get scared. They watch something on TV, and it might be something. Yeah, but when they get it in the head, it's very hard to get it out. So the fact that the book brought so much peace to a child that wasn't born into a Sikh family, so it's not a case he's a Sikh and he's this is a child. So this book almost has such an impact, and not just on one child, but on many, and it's brought a sense of peace. Whether it's illustrations, whether it's a book, because in that book we have a mantra that they recite. They it's a special word they've got to say, and then the group hears. It's kind of a bit of a fun and engaging way. But that mantra is they're also meditating throughout the book. It's what people don't realize, and that meditation in itself brings a sense of peace and power, and that's what we're trying to instill. It's a new way of learning. It's had a massive impact, not just on the audience, but people like Ben, that have done the illustrations, people that have worked on these projects, they would tell us about, it's almost had an impact on their lives. So these are, it definitely has got a sense of magic and grace in these projects, and we're very lucky to be part of it.
Totally. Yeah. You can't get anything more magical than that. A child having nightmares and all of a sudden they don't have them anymore. They have the guru visiting them, all because of a book you've created. And there must be countless other examples like that we don't even know of. And it's so nice to have those messages, of reassurance and inspiration to carry on going.
It really is. Honestly, we get so many. That's just one that really stands out, because I think it's one of the first ones that someone really went out and written a deep, long message, and it was and that kind of it's one that sticks in my mind always to this day.
Definitely. So what piece of advice would you give to all the magical minds, particularly the mini magical minds watching this episode?
That if you have a passion to make a difference, don't let anyone else tell you can't do it. Whether you have the background, whether you have the qualifications, whether you have the skill set, if you have the desire to make a difference, that is all you need. Persistence is a key. Do not give up. If you keep trying and trying and trying, and you have the energy and you have that belief, you will achieve it. I always say, if you believe, you will achieve. And that's something that's always stuck in my mind for many, many years. So, if you believe, you'll have self-doubt on the journey if you want to make a difference, because it's not an easy road. I went through many difficult moments in terms of, the work, finances, so many different things to get to where we are at the moment. So just don't give up. If you truly want to make a difference and you truly believe that you want to do it, then don't let no one else tell you otherwise, and be persistent. Make it happen. It will come.
Great. Thanks so much for sharing that wisdom with our listeners today.
No problem.
So definitely 100% agree with everything you've said. Perfect. That's so awesome. How can viewers be part of the magic that you're making?
So definitely, we have a website, which is quite simple to remember. I am 1313, the numbers. So iam1313.com. So definitely go on our website, check us out. There's many ways you can support. Like I said, we're non-profit, so we're not profit-led. Everything we create and we make, and the funds that we do get back, just go into creating more projects. A lot of the projects we do create, they are to a high level. And when it's a high level, we try and bring the best artists and producers on board. For example, the album worked partly in Abbey Studios, which is world-renowned. We had people that worked on the Harry Potter songs. We had people like Snartham Core, world-class producers, even artists like Ben Barter that we brought. The production has always been high to create content that would really kind of surpass what we've done at the moment and be engaging to all. So that comes at a price. So really what we get back in doesn't even touch in terms of what we spend. So that's kind of pretty much self-funded through the team, and our kind of we have put 1/10 of our wages away to kind of fund these projects. But if you want to support, check us out on YouTube as well. We've got many different kind of animations and bits in there. So I'm 1313 on .fam on Facebook and Instagram, but definitely check the website. All the details are on there. And if you do want to support any projects and you do want to get involved, whether you're an artist, whether you're a filmmaker, whether you do animation, if you have the skill sets, please do get in touch. Go onto the website. If you want to make a donation, you want to support, again, go on the website. All the details are there. There's a contact form. There's a donation page. Together we can make a difference. It isn't done by any one individual. It's a real team and a collective effort. So if you want to make a difference, you have got the skill, or you want to support and fund a project, by all means, get in touch. iam1313.com. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, subscribe, and get behind the projects, because they are amazing, and they are, honestly, they will touch your soul, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I second that. Having, worked with you guys, it's a magical experience. Definitely do get involved, follow on social media, share the posts, and, be part of the magic that they're making.
Right. Definitely, yeah.
So here is the book, The Guru Song Adventure, very magical. I'm just going to open one page, give you a sneak peek, but you're going to have to buy the book to see the rest. Just look at that, pure talent, pure magic. And Pritpal, where can people get this book from?
Okay, guys, this is a book. If you have a child, if you have friends that have children, if you're in school and you want to make a donation to a library or a school, this book, honestly, is a beautiful book. And you can get this from iam1313.com. So you can visit the shop. Like I said, if you have a child, whether you're Sikh, whether you're non-Sikh, this is a book you definitely have to buy. And every purchase is supporting another project. So it's a way of saying, if you haven't made a donation and you want to support us, then buy a book, whether it's for yourself, whether it's for a child, whether it's a gift. And I promise you, it is the quality of the book, whether you're a child or a parent, I mean, you will love it. It's one of the books that you're going to want to put on the bookshelf and say, you know what, that needs to be treasured. It is a really, really beautiful book.
You just read my mind. I was going to say, this book is the main book that I treasure and will keep forever. And you just stole the words out of my mouth.
It is amazing.
But on the subject of the book, there is a book 2 coming soon, isn't there? Is there anything you can share about book 2?
That's right. So one of the problems we have is that we have expectation now, because we focus on trying to get really amazing content. It's never easy to kind of keep raising the bar. So book 2, we've been working very hard in the last 12 months to making sure we tick all these boxes. So book 2 is based on a song from the album called Come to See My Guru. So it's an amazing journey where the two characters from the book, the brother and sister from the Khalsa family, go on a journey to the Guru, but it's got a slightly different, I would say, twist to a story where it's not quite traditional. They go into a Gurdwara, which is a Sikh, temple, or if you want to call it Gurdwara, we call it. But they go through a different dimension through the wall, and once they go through this different dimension, they experience things like langar, which is like the free food. You got the Sikh temple, a seva, which is selfless service, in a whole different way. You've got to get the book. It's indescribable. So end of January, that book should be complete. It should be ready for pre-orders by end of Jan. So if you go on our website and you are following us, this book is mind-blowing. I've been lucky enough to kind of participate in the journey and seen it come together. So end of Jan, come to see my Guru. Wow. Honestly, when you see it, you guys are going to love it.
Definitely. I've proofread that book, and it's amazing how you've, all these philosophies of langar, seva, selfless service, humanity, kindness, you've put them all into a book, and there's a story around it. And that's what, not even just kids, but adults as well. So you're in for a real treat with book 2, guys. So if you haven't got your hands on book 1, make sure you do and get ready for book 2.
Yeah.
So Pritpal, thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Magical Minds.
No, thank you, Nisha, for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. All about spreading the magic, and what better way than to kickstart with iam1313. So
That's right.
That was this week's inspirational interview with Pritpal from I Am 1313. Stay tuned for another Magical Minds with Anisha Johal show coming soon. But for now, enjoy making magic moments with your magical mind.